The Spanish Empire did not collapse because it was poor. It collapsed because it was rich. In the 16th century, Spain commanded the most powerful imperial system on earth. Its territories stretched from Madrid to Mexico City, from Lima to Manila. Silver from Potosi crossed the Atlantic in guarded fleets. Gold reshaped European markets. Spanish galleons connected continents. Its monarch ruled over lands where the sun never set. Yet within 2 centuries, this empire, once the engine of global trade, became bankrupt, overstretched, politically fragmented, and structurally exhausted. The Spanish Empire did not fall in a single battle. It eroded, and the erosion began at the height of its wealth. To understand this collapse, we must examine the system, not the spectacle. 1. The architecture of power. The empire's rise began with consolidation at home. The Union of Castile and Aragon created a centralized monarchy capable of sustained military projection. The completion of the Reconquista in 1492 eliminated internal fragmentation. Spain emerged unified, militarized, and ideologically confident. The same year Columbus sailed west, Spain transitioned from continental power to transatlantic empire. Within decades, Hernán Cortés dismantled the Aztec Empire. Francisco Pizarro toppled the Inca state. Vast territories rich in mineral resources fell under the Spanish crown. But conquest is an event. Governance is a structure. Spain built a highly centralized imperial system. The Council of the Indies oversaw colonial administration. Viceroys governed New Spain and Peru. Trade was strictly regulated. The Casa de Contratación controlled commerce between Spain and the Americas. Everything flowed through the crown. This centralization ensured control. It also ensured rigidity. 2. The silver engine. The true foundation of the Spanish Empire was silver. The mines of Potosi in modern Bolivia and Zacatecas in Mexico produced unprecedented quantities of bullion. Indigenous labor systems, initially encomienda, later mita, ensured continuous extraction. Millions of ounces of silver entered global circulation through Spanish channels. Silver financed war. Silver paid debts. Silver purchased foreign goods. Silver sustained dominance. At first, this abundance amplified Spanish power. The crown funded campaigns across Europe. It defended Catholic territories against Protestant reformers. It confronted France and the Ottoman Empire. But silver did something more subtle. It distorted the economy. 3. The price revolution. The influx of bullion increased Europe's money supply dramatically. Prices rose across the continent in what historians call the price revolution. Inflation eroded purchasing power. Wages stagnated relative to cost increases. Spain, rather than industrializing, used silver to purchase manufactured goods from abroad. Domestic industries struggled to compete with imports paid for in bullion. Instead of building diversified productive capacity, Spain relied on extraction. Extraction replaced innovation. An economy dependent on resource inflow becomes vulnerable to fluctuation. When silver shipments declined due to piracy, declining yields, or logistical failures, fiscal crises followed. The Spanish crown declared bankruptcy multiple times in the 16th and 17th centuries. Wealth masked structural weakness. 4. War as structural burden. Spain fought continuously. It fought France for dominance in Italy. It fought the Ottoman Empire in the Mediterranean. It fought Protestant states in the Low Countries. It launched the Armada against England in 1588. It suppressed revolts in the Netherlands. War requires revenue. Revenue came from silver. Silver required colonies. Colonies required military protection. It was a circular system. When war expanded faster than revenue, debt accumulated. Foreign bankers financed Spanish campaigns. Interest payments consumed revenue. Financial credibility weakened. The empire's strength became its burden. 5. Distance and control. The empire spanned oceans. Communication between Madrid and Mexico City could take months. Colonial officials operated with broad discretion. Corruption expanded. Smuggling flourished. Spain attempted to enforce trade monopolies through strict port controls. But colonists found it more profitable to trade illegally with Dutch and English merchants. The tighter Madrid tried to control trade, the more local actors circumvented regulation. Centralization in theory became decentralization in practice. The empire was too vast to monitor fully, and too rigid to decentralize effectively. 6. Social hierarchy and identity fracture. Colonial society was deeply stratified. Peninsulares, Spaniards born in Spain, held top offices. Creoles, Spaniards born in the Americas, were excluded from highest authority. Below them were mestizos, indigenous peoples, and enslaved Africans. This hierarchy maintained order but suppressed mobility. Creoles resented exclusion. They contributed economically, yet lacked political power. Over time, resentment hardened into identity. Meanwhile, indigenous populations declined dramatically due to disease and forced labor. Labor systems required constant adjustment. Social cohesion weakened. The empire's governance model maintained control, but not loyalty. 7. Competitors adapt. While Spain relied on bullion, rivals diversified. The Dutch embraced commercial capitalism. England invested in naval power and early industrial capacity. France reformed administrative systems. These states developed broader economic foundations. Spain remained bullion-dependent. When global trade shifted toward competitive maritime networks, Spain's monopolistic structure lagged. The empire's wealth slowed adaptation. 8. The Bourbon reforms. In the 18th century, reform arrived. The Bourbon monarchy sought efficiency. Administrative divisions were reorganized. Trade restrictions were relaxed slightly. Military structure improved. Revenue collection intensified. But reform creates disruption. Colonial elites faced higher taxes and tighter oversight. Autonomy narrowed. Resentment deepened. Modernization arrived unevenly and without political integration. Reform strengthened control. It weakened legitimacy. 9. The Napoleonic shock. In 1808, Napoleon invaded Spain. The monarchy was destabilized. The king was captured. Political legitimacy fractured. If the monarch was imprisoned, to whom were colonies loyal? Local juntas formed in the Americas. Creole elites asserted authority. Independence movements spread across Latin America. Simón Bolívar and José de San Martín mobilized revolution. When the center collapses, the periphery redefines itself. Spain, weakened and divided, could not reassert full control. By the 1820s, most of its American empire was gone. Structural erosion. The Spanish Empire did not implode. It eroded. Silver masked weakness. War amplified debt. Centralization reduced flexibility. Hierarchy reduced loyalty. Reform reduced cohesion. External shocks accelerated fragmentation. Its wealth financed dominance. It also delayed transformation. An extraction empire without diversification is structurally fragile. When silver slowed and war expanded, imbalance became irreversible. The empire that once reshaped global trade could not adapt to industrializing modernity. 11. Modern parallels. Resource-dependent states today face similar pressures. Sudden wealth inflows distort currencies. Political elites rely on extraction instead of diversification. When prices fall or geopolitical shocks occur, fragility emerges. The Spanish Empire illustrates a broader rule. Abundance without institutional evolution produces vulnerability. Wealth reduces urgency. Reduced urgency delays reform. Delayed reform amplifies collapse. The empire's rise was spectacular. Its reach was global. Its wealth was immense. But adaptability was limited. In the long arc of history, power built on narrow foundations cannot endure systemic transformation. The Spanish Empire did not fall because it lacked power. It fell because its power rested on silver, and silver alone was not enough. That is the structural story of the Spanish Empire.